Okay, great. Are you ready?
Mhm.
Okay.
We met a lot of awesome people at Gen Con, but one person that really stuck out to us was Beau. This 10-year-old had a wild amount of enthusiasm for a game he was pretty new to. So, I sat down for an interview with him to talk about his new favorite game, Heroscape.
What's up, Renegades? Thanks for tuning into a very special interview we have going on today. I am joined by Heroscaper and podcast extraordinaire, Beau. Beau, you want to say hi? Hi. Can you tell the audience how old you are and what the name of your podcast is?
I'm 10, almost 11, and the name of me and my dad's podcast is the Board Boys Podcast.
Awesome. Great. And we met at Gen Con, this past Gen Con, and you came by the booth to say hi, and it was very clear that you were one of the biggest Heroscape fans I've ever met. So can you just tell me, when have you played Heroscape before now? How long have you been playing Heroscape?
Well, I just figured out what it was by the time I saw your booth at Gen Con, but I've been playing it for like 1 year since then, I think, about.
Awesome. Great. Do you play mostly with your dad or do you play with your friends?
I've played with my friends a couple of times and I play with my dad.
Awesome. That's great. Let's see. What is your favorite figure in the game or character? Either one.
Uh, I don't Zinnerat, the Vine Weaver. I have him right here.
Oh yeah, there she is. Actually, I have her on my shirt right now.
You do?
I got the Heroscape shirt. Yep, there she is.
Woo!
So that one's unpainted. Are you planning on painting that one yourself?
Uh, yeah, I'm gonna try to paint all of them,
All
but
of them?
for right now, we have a couple that are already like ready to paint, but we haven't painted them yet.
That's exciting. Are you gonna stick to the normal color scheme, or are you gonna get crazy with the colors and do something
I'm
different?
I'm gonna stick to the normal color scheme because I like the color schemes.
Traditional. I do too. I think they're very cool. And she's gold too, which is kind of cool. Do you when you play Heroscape with your friends or your dad, do you usually win? Or is it always like half and half?
I mean, I almost never win against my dad, but I a lot of the time against my friends.
It's hard. He's been gaming probably longer than you have. I don't know for certain, but I like to game with my family too. And it took me a very long time to start winning at family game nights. But now I'm finally catching up to people.
Yeah, he's played games before I was born, so
Yeah, so he's got quite a lot more experience than you, but that's great because you get to learn under a master gamer. So when you play Heroscape, what's kind of your favorite strategy? I listened to some of your podcast, and your dad said that you were kind of mean in games, and that you like to be a little ruthless. Is that the same when you play Heroscape?
uh so in Heroscape sometimes I'm just like ruthless and sometimes I am ruthless, but I also have like because some characters I like hang back in
Mhm.
like in areas where they can't be hit only for like certain circumstances. Like I send them in waves and stuff, or I've done that before.
That's good. That's pretty good strategy. Are you meaner, do you think, when you play against your family or your friends?
Family.
Family, me too. I love to pick on my dad when I play board games with him. My brother and I will gang up on him and try to take him down. So, that's pretty good. I approve.
That sounds familiar. Me and my friends, when I'm playing games with my dad, we team up and just try to take him out.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. I too like to be a little mean during games sometimes. I have to tone it down though, when I'm working with friends or playing games with friends or other
Yeah.
game designers or people who work at the company because I don't want to make anybody mad.
Yeah.
Um, so if you had to teach someone who's never played Heroscape before, what's the first thing you would tell them?
That I'm probably gonna teach them in the simpler setting first, and then maybe we can learn the harder setting after because I think it's nice that it has two different settings, one for beginners and one for people who've played it before.
I agree. I think it makes it a lot easier for people who don't play games at all. This could
Hmm.
be a good entry point, a good first game for somebody to play because of the simple rules.
Hmm.
A lot of people will say Heroscape is easy to learn and difficult to master.
Yeah.
Would you say that's right?
Yeah, that's with a lot of games too. I've seen that.
Definitely.
I
Yeah.
like it in Heroscape.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So, what's the best tip or trick that you've learned that you could pass on to some of our viewers when it comes to trying to win a Heroscape battle?
So you don't want to go all aggressive. Sometimes you would want to hide back some of your stuff, like I said, and send them in waves. But I also like once you're close enough, I would go aggressive. But when you're farther away, try to hide behind like obstacles and stuff.
Sure, that makes sense. Using some of the terrain to your advantage.
Mhm.
The terrain is pretty cool for Heroscape too, huh? With
Yeah.
the hexagons.
Mhm. I like building the different maps.
Yeah, I think that's really neat. They're kind of like Legos a little bit.
Yeah.
And you can use them for different games too.
Yeah.
If you play other games, you can use the terrain for different setups.
Yeah. I feel like I could use them for other miniature games.
Yeah, absolutely. And they look really cool. And we have more different kinds of terrain coming out soon.
Ooh.
So we'll be able to add to our collections.
Yeah. I saw the old versions of Heroscapes at BGG Spring when a long time ago we had no idea how to play.
Hmm.
I was just messing around with the pieces and stuff.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, there's a lot of uh, stuff that's still out there. And actually, all of the stuff that we make now, you can use when you play with the older stuff. So it's all compatible, and they all work together, which is
Mhm.
pretty neat for people who have big collections.
Yeah.
So, Beau, why do you think Heroscape is super fun for both kids and adults?
I said this earlier, but I'm gonna bring it back up. That it has a setting for beginners and people who've played it before. Like anybody can pl like it's in my opinion, it's a great game for anybody to learn.
Yeah,
Like
definitely.
adults and kids. Like if you're a kid who just wants to start playing games, then I would suggest it. And if you're an adult that wanted to start playing games, I would suggest it. But if you're a person, like a kid or an adult that have played games before, I would also suggest it. I'd suggest it to pretty much anybody.
Yeah, that's awesome. And games like that are so fun because it's a great opportunity to make more friends who maybe don't play games.
Hmm.
So you can meet new people.
Hmm.
So your dad mentioned to me that there was one time where you were trying to set up a bunch of terrain and you ran out of time. What happened?
So me and my friend were at a game night with my dad, and we were setting up the big box scenario one. Then we just started setting up the stuff. Then by the time we finished putting everything together, uh it was time for my friend to go home. So then short after I went home. Uh and so we knew we didn't have enough time to play, so after we had it slightly set up, we just set the miniatures up in a cool fight scene or something.
Awesome. Yeah, that's the worst when that happens. I've definitely been to game nights where you get through the rule book and then it's time to leave. There's no more time to play the game.
Yeah.
But were you able to play with them another time?
Yeah, I've played with them with the smaller set another time.
Oh, good. That's good that you at least got time to play with them later. What would you say to somebody who's never tried Heroscape before and you were trying to convince them to play with you?
Uh, that the miniatures are cool in my and uh it's fun to build the map and I think it's very thematic.
Yeah, definitely. Very thematic. And the plot lines are very cool, the
Yeah.
story and the different characters. So I have a question that's kind of fun. If you could shrink yourself down really small and enter the world, what army would you want to fight with?
Like on their side.
Yeah. Who do you want on your team?
Well, like I would want my favorite character on my team, so like Zinarath the Vineweaver, but I would also want like the army of I don't know. In my opinion, they kind of look like skeletons, but I don't know what they actually are.
Yeah, yeah. That would be pretty fun. If you had one wish for Heroscape, in the future, any kind of additional characters or any kind of stuff, what would it be? And I'll pass this along to the team and we'll see if we can make it happen.
Okay, so I have one idea for a character and one idea for a new piece of type of terrain.
Okay, yeah, tell me.
So, so water's in the game,
Hmm.
but I also thought it might be a fun idea to add lava, which you guys may already be making, and I might not know it. But still, I think it would be a cool thing that you could like make like molten rock and lava, so you could make like a volcano sort of thing.
Yeah, we might have something like that in the works coming up.
And also, if I were to do a character, I would want it to be like a giant spider, like a giant black widow spider.
Oh,
But
those are scary.
but it has like highlights on it, but the highlights are green instead. And on the back, instead of like a triangle, it'd be a like green skull. And then like it would have like an like I don't know how to like a a blaster on top of its back, like strapped to it that shoots acid.
That sounds like a really cool idea. That would be a really powerful character.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds awesome. You could have a whole spider themed army.
Yeah,
Um,
like with tiny little spiderling things or
yeah,
like eggs that you could hatch into the spiderlings or something.
yeah, that would be super scary. I'm so scared of spiders. But that would be wicked to see on the board. That would be
Yeah.
very and fun to paint too.
Yeah, because like you can make the highlights any color you want.
Yeah, definitely. So you mentioned that you're gonna try to paint your whole army. Have you painted anything before?
Yeah. I have like a million figures that aren't painted, but I have a few painted ones.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I think a lot of painters feel like that, where they collect a lot of cool minis and then they just sit there collecting dust, as they wait for you to paint them.
Yeah.
Well, cool. That about wraps everything up. Thanks for sitting down with us and chatting. Do you want to tell any parting words? You want to tell the audience about your podcast with your dad?
Yeah. So it's I'm mostly not on it. It's mostly my dad and a couple of other people. But I'm on the episodes that are called bonus episodes, but not spelled. But I don't think the bonus is spelled right. I think
It's
it's my
it,
name. Yeah.
yeah, it's spelled like your name. So, Renegades, check out the board boys and make sure to check out the episodes that are labeled bonus episodes, to hear Beau, and his dad talk about games.
Oh, we also do YouTube videos.
Oh, and YouTube videos. Make sure to check that out too. Awesome. Well, thank you, Beau.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. All right, bye everybody.
Wait, don't go anywhere just yet. We called upon the wisdom of some of our Heroscape community members to answer these 2 questions. 1. What advice would you give to a kid who wants to play Heroscape for the first time? And 2. What advice would you give to a parent looking to play Heroscape with their kids? Take it away, Heroscapers.
Hello everyone, I am Michael and I'm very excited to answer a few questions about Heroscape today. So the first one is what advice I would give to a kid playing for the first time. And the number one thing I would say is just have fun. Heroscape is a very easy game to play and learn. It's a lot of fun, so pick the heroes and the armies that you just like. And don't worry about winning or losing, because as you play it more, you'll learn the rules, you'll learn more strategies, you'll get better, and you'll win more. So have fun with it. It's a great game. Now the second question is what advice I would give to parents with playing with their kids. And that one would be let your kids win. They will want to play more for sure. I have a 6-year-old son. He loves the game. Absolutely loves it, and definitely the more times I let him win, it seems like he wants to play more too. But it's really good for kids to be able to learn strategies and problem solving, and is a great way to pass the time. Like my 6-year-old kid, he goes to tournaments with me too, so it's a good bonding experience, and he actually wins against adults, so it's pretty cool to kind of make this as a kind of a family activity where we play Heroscape and invites his friends over and we play Heroscape as well. So it's an awesome game, and I really think just everybody should play it.
Using your imagination is the best advice I can give you. Close your eyes. Imagine a battlefield where pirates, dragons, robots, and even ninjas can fight. If it looks anything like this, you're on the right track. Build your army of the coolest characters in your collection. For those parents and guardians, the best advice I can provide is to bring yourself back as a kid and try to view Heroscape through much younger eyes. Use this game as a way to escape from all the responsibilities and to have as much fun as your kids are having while they move the characters around on the battlefield that they just built for you two to play.
Alright, so the advice I have for kids looking to play Heroscape for the first time, one is don't be afraid. It's a really easy and fun game to get into. It's very easy to understand. Don't worry about all the rules, all the powers. Just jump in, choose your favorite figure, and don't be afraid to ask for help. Someone's always, I find, willing to provide information and help, and just play the game. Play a couple games and don't be afraid of losing, and just have a good time rolling those dice and moving those awesome figures on the battlefield. Second piece of advice, just choose the coolest figure you can see. Don't worry about anything else when building your army. Just find the coolest figures, whether that's the giant dragons or the alien bugs or the the harpoon bears, anything that just really catches your eyes, and go to town with those. The cooler the better. The more you like the figure, the more you engage with the story as a young person, the more you'll relate to the game and have a great time. And if you're a parent kind of looking for advice on how to get your kid playing, know that Heroscape is a multifaceted game. There are different aspects of different levels that a kid can engage with. Personally for me, I have kids that are all under 5, they're very young, but they still like taking the tiles out and building these big, impressive maps. They like taking their little army guys and just playing on the Heroscape terrain. So that itself is just a entry level. Second level is you can teach them the game, and there's also the basic game on the side, which is a really great entry point for teaching newer or younger players kind of the gameplay loop. How to roll dice, how to move figures, and it's a really great kind of entry course into playing the more complicated aspects of the game. And third, this is more for me personally, but find a way to paint figures with your kids. There's no way that you're going to get more into a game than painting your own figure and having it on the board. For my younger kids, even though they're small, I give them some leftover figures I have, or some their old army men. I have them paint them and have them play the game as well. But if you can paint together, then that's just another experience you can have outside of playing the game. So all those kind of together, know that the Heroscape is a system. So there's lots of things that you can adjust and change as to make the game more fun for you and your kids to play, depending on their level and their interest in the game. You could have map building contest or just run like 1 or 2 figures just to kind of get on the table playing games together and rolling dice. I'm definitely training my kids young now just to kind of start rolling the dice and moving the figures on the board. I'm looking forward to when they're old enough to actually beat me at the game. Maybe. I'm gonna not go easy on them, but we'll see.
As someone who started playing Heroscape as a child at a pretty young age, one of the things that, I would have gone back and told myself is that winning is fun. Winning is not the only way to have fun. There are lots of opportunities and different things that can be done with this wonderful game. Army building is so much fun, and while you may have your favorite figure, maybe you should try branching out to some of the other stuff every so often.
I would also say that you should find what sparks joy in what you want to do in Heroscape. If you enjoy map building, focus on that. Build some really cool maps that you and your friends can play on, or play with your parents. If you just love playing the game, find new strategies and things to do. Heroscape's a giant ball of fun. Find what's fun in it and do it. Okay, for all the parents out there, it's largely the same. Find what your kid likes and enjoys and support them in this. Try out new strategies and stuff with them. Find new characters that might be fun. Look up maps. There's a wide array of maps out there that you can build with your kids. Just find what's fun, what you like, and do it.
As far as the very first game goes, I would suggest, keeping your map on a smaller level. To get your child engaged, get the churn of the game going quicker for your very, very first game. That way you can, spread the joy and understanding of the game a little bit quicker. And personally, for a first-time game with a kid, I would avoid using too many line of sight blockers. It's fun and it's a wonderful mechanic of the game, but can sometimes, when you're first teaching things, get a little complicated.
Hey, welcome everyone. Sir Heroscape here today, coming at you with a little bit of advice about playing Heroscape as a kid and as a parent. To be honest, Heroscape at its core is a kid's game. At the very core, it's simple, it's easy to pick up within a few minutes, and for you kids out there, the important part is to have fun. Find the figures that look cool. Find the figures that do boss and awesome stats. Find the figure with the highest life, the biggest defense, the biggest attack, the Jotuns, the Karoses, right? Find the figures that look cool and have cool abilities and stats. That's honestly how you start this game. That's how I started this game. When I first started, there was a lot of figures that I didn't want to touch because they didn't have high enough stats. They didn't look cool enough when I was a kid. And as time goes on, obviously that will change. But to start off and just have the most fun you can in Heroscape as a kid, it really comes down to just finding the cool things and then just throwing them on the table and playing. For you adults out there, for you parents or guardians playing with your kids, honestly, get into it and imagine yourself on a battlefield, right? When I'm out there playing with Heroscape, sometimes I get serious and make it more like a chess game, but other times I'm just imagining myself on a battlefield with these cool, fantastical beasts or these futuristic robots. And when your kids have that imagination at such a young age, it's important as an adult, as a guardian, to be able to help foster that, right? Sit down, find a cool mini and role play that a little bit of your robot sending out an explosion into your opponent in space, or sitting on top of a castle wall with Savaris and sniping figures from 10 spaces away because you have the glyph, a range glyph. There's so many fun things you can do to make the game feel alive for your kids. And one of that is just kind of role playing the figures you're playing with. So as a parent, the game's easy to pick up. As a kid, the game's easy to pick up. Find a figure that looks cool, that's fun, has big stats. And as a parent, get into it. Role play it with your kids. Have a fun little storyline. Heroscape is a game simple enough to pick up within 5 minutes, and that's what makes it beautiful. So I'm excited for all of you out there who get to play Heroscape. I get to play it every day, and I love it. So enjoy Heroscape as it's back in business, baby.
Hello, this is Derek, also known as Vecna on the Renegade Game Studios. And if you're interested in Heroscape and you're getting into it for the first time, my advice to you would be to let your imagination run wild. It's pretty easy to do when you see the box art with all the different themes that Heroscape offers. That instantly will conjure up stories in your head that you want to tell on the table. So all you need to do is open the box, maybe learn a couple of the rules, grab the figures that appeal to you the most, get a friend or family member, sit down, build the map however you want. Just let your imagination tell the story and have a lot of fun with it. The enjoyment from Heroscape comes from playing the game, but even more so with the people you play it with. So I would just suggest to not get too hung up on the more complex parts of the game early on. You'll learn that as you grow and as you play. And if you're trying to introduce this game to someone younger as a parent or guardian, it's also easy to encourage them to start and build off of their imagination. That's a huge part of Heroscape, is just letting them tell stories, having fun. There's a simple side for rules to keep it pretty easy, and then as the game gets played more, there's a more complex strategic side that challenges their critical thinking, challenges their strategic skills, and challenges their patience a little bit, as sitting down to play a game and focusing on the game can be a little bit of a challenge. But as you get friends and family together and everybody around the table, Heroscape has something for everyone in terms of theme, in terms of just customization, of building the map that you want to build with the pieces and the terrain that come in the box. And the lore has some interesting bits, so people who like that aspect of the game can also get into it. So my advice to you is just get into Heroscape. It is a fantastic game, and every time I've played it with every person I've played it with has been a reward.
All right.
As soon as we turn this off, I'm going to think of 20 more things.
So you see, Heroscape is great for gamers of all ages, and gamers of all experience levels for that matter. Thanks to Beau for the awesome interview, thanks to our community members who shared their advice, and thanks to you for watching.
And that's the whole thing. You did it. Piece of cake, right? Did you have fun?
Yeah.
Awesome. Great.